All right, the gods of computers have let us start today. All right, focus up, people. Scott Wilson with Dumbass Contractors checking in with today's briefing. This morning's topic is the boom and bust cycle of construction. My stepfather, my first stepfather, enlightened me to this part of the process. There are times when there's too much work, and there's times when there's not enough work. Uh, Construction just naturally goes through boom and bust cycles. The booms are too high and the busts are too low. I've been reading about some guys around the country in some of my groups are having a hard time finding work, having a hard time finding work. It's really a normal time finding work. Up until this point, since we ended the COVID lockdown, we've been in a period where people were order takers. They didn't have to sell anything. They just had to show up, cash the check, and get the work done. That's the more enjoyable part of the cycle when you're in control of things. I believe that what these guys are experiencing is more of a seasonal slowdown. You know, Christmas, the holidays, people don't really think about starting big projects. But that bust is coming, and it can happen overnight. I've had busts that like 9/11. We went from full tilt boogie, no recession for 8 years, into dead stop where we were scraping our faces off the windshield. That was the most radical stoppage that I'd ever seen. The 2008 slowdown was kind of a uh, an eight month glide into the face plant in the dirt. A lot of little recessions in 03, 05. Those weren't too bad, but they were significant. 87 was a 2-year slowdown, and then it was 3 or 4 years to get back out of it. That bust part of the cycle is when a lot of guys leave the trades. It's just not enough work for all of us at that time. And then when the boom hits, a lot of guys get sucked into the trades. It's an opportunity to learn and build your skill set up and try and hang on through the slow times. If you're skilled, if you're good at what you do, you can get through those slow times. You're going to have to live minimally, even during the good times. That's the secret to surviving it, is just get up every day, run your advertising, answer the phone, get as much work done as you can, live in your day tight compartments. Some days your job is doing work, and there are two frames of mind I wake up with. Oh my God, how am I going to get all this work done? And oh my God, where's the next job coming from? A lot of times there's a coalescing around the more profitable, the more successful firms during the bust times. I've gone to work for other people during the bust. It's a great time to get work done for my dumbass homeowners. I have my air conditioning changed in the winter. I have my heat put in the summer. I always try to go contrary to when the contrary to the workflow. I tell retired people on a fixed income, when we're in a boom time, you just advise them to wait till everybody's standing around with nothing to do. Call a painting contractor in February if they want to work. Man, you could call 3 of them, ask for their best price, and you're going to be sitting pretty if you're in a bust period. That's what'll happen a lot of times in bust years. You'll have 9 months of work and 3 months where you're looking for work, and it might not be 3 months in a row. It might be 3 weeks here, 4 weeks there, a couple weeks here. You'll have these holes in your schedule that you're trying to fill. During the boom period, you just work as much as you can. You work as many hours as you can. You pay down debt. You don't take on payments because it's not going to last. The nature of the beast is that construction and real estate are boom and bust. Make money during the boom. Try to spend as little money as you can during the bust. They're talking about 4 interest rate increases this year. Interest rates are unbelievably low. The herd mentality around interest rates. When I graduated college in 1982, University of New Hampshire, interest rates were at 17%. Now, and the banks weren't loaning anybody any money because who could pay back 17%? When the interest rates dropped to 14%, everyone ran out and got a loan, refinanced their house. They thought it was great. Interest rates went from 14 to 10, and everyone ran out and refinanced their home. If you could get an interest rate in the 90s at 7%, that was a miracle. Everyone ran out and refinanced their house. We refinanced our house down at 5%. Took 7 years off the loan. It was great. Now interest rates will go from 2.75 to 3.25, and everyone will, their hair will be on fire and they'll be running away from the real estate market because, oh my God, interest rates went up. Historically, a 3 or 4% interest rate in my lifetime, my adult lifetime, is incredibly low. I'd rather buy a house. Okay, so here's the thing about real estate, and this is from my dumbass home buyers. Which would you rather do? Which is better for you? Buying a house when real estate is hot and overpriced. Let's say we use an example of some friends of mine bought a house in Huntington Station. In 2014, 2015, that house you could buy for 180 grand at 5%. They bought the house last year for 380. Same house, piece of crap. It needs a complete interior and exterior renovation. It's 50 years old. They paid 380 for it at 3% interest. You're better off buying a house at the bottom of the market at a higher interest rate and then refinancing when interest rates go down. Right now is not a time to buy, because just because the interest rate on real estate goes down does not mean the value of that real estate went up. Low interest rates drives the price of real estate up, but it doesn't drive the value of real estate up. It's still a house. You can build it. You buy a piece of land, put a house on it. The cost of that house doesn't change. Overpaying for those houses is expensive. I'd rather see you buy a house. I'd rather see you save your money right now. Yeah, rent's expensive. We bought our house in New Hampshire. We paid $163,000 for it in 2011. We bought it from a couple who had paid $350,000 for the house in 2005 when the market was frothy. So, in essence, they lost $200,000 on the investment. Lost, disappeared. Where did that money go? It was gone. And we went to insure that house, replacement value on the structure, not including the 2 lots that the house stood on. The structure was valued at $550,000. So we bought 2 lots that at the time in 2011 were worth $40,000 each, and a $560,000 structure. Okay, so that's $640,000 worth of value. And we paid $163,000 for it. Now, the folks who bought it in 2005 for $350,000, they still made a good deal. It made sense to them, but the market was frothy. And right after 9/11, they needed to goose that economy, and they lowered interest rates, and they gave anybody and their brother a boatload of money. They were giving waitresses $700,000 to build a spec house. When you start seeing stupid stuff like that going on, I had friends that I wouldn't loan them $50 and expect to get it back. They were giving them $500,000 and they didn't get it back. They just handed the banks the keys. Because when it does, you got to keep that overhead tight. You got to be able to get through the downtimes, get through the lean years. That's the hard part. That's the hardest part. Management finding employees during the boom era boom period is hard, but you can drive hard bargains, and you got cash flow to get through it. Getting through a slow period when you got your overhead every month and you got to carry that overhead, that's the time when you invest in your own property. Any downtime, if I have an open week, job cancels out, somebody has a relative die and they can't get to they need to postpone their project for some reason. I take my guys, we go over to one of my pieces of property and we fix it up. We improve the property. I take my time and I invest it there. Now that costs money. You got to have cash available to do it. But if you're smart with money, and a lot of tradesmen are smart with money, that's the majority of us are very good with money, because money's always tight. It's never, we know it's going to be tight. Most of us have been through this up and down phase a couple times already, and we know that we have to save for a rainy day. All right. Bust is coming. I can't tell you when. I've successfully predicted 15 of the last 4 recessions. I can't tell you when it's going to boom. I can't tell you when it's going to bust. But I get up every day, go to work, answer the phone, try to get 8 hours of production, a couple hours of paperwork done. One day at a time. All right? We're burning daylight. Scott Wilson with Dumbass Contractors, urging you to stay loose, stay relaxed, but most importantly, stay in front of it. Wilson out.